All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we're actually live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, the FM dial right here in Prescott, Ontario. And we actually have a phenomenal Los Angeles, California based band. We have Londynne's following, and we actually have the lead singer here with us. How are you doing this evening, man?
Yo, what's going on, everyone? I'm doing amazing this evening. It's been a great week so far, just kind of locking in new stuff that we're working on and getting ready for a new release here.
Hey man, that honestly, as a Londyn's following fan, I'm actually super stoked to hear you guys actually got new material currently in the pot, cooking and boiling and ready
Yes,
to actually be
sir.
released, man. But I gotta say, I'm also glad to hear your week's going well, man. It's crazy just to feel that it's already Wednesday, man. It's 2 more days until the weekend, so you can't really complain about that.
Absolutely. It came so quickly, honestly. I was already looking at my schedule and I was like, wow, it's already like the end of the week tomorrow, pretty much. And then we're going into the weekend. It's just time flies when you're busy.
I definitely agree, man. And speaking of busy, I know you are a very busy individual, so I'm not going to take you away too much
Oh, no
of your
worries.
evening. But I got to take you back to the beginning, man, of your career. And I have to ask, man, what
Yeah.
inspired you to get into the music industry initially, man? Because
Yeah.
you are such a talented, gifted singer.
Thank you. Yeah, I was super fortunate to grow up around the music industry and especially rock music. My uncle, not blood related, but I call him my uncle. I grew up with him in my life like that, and he was the bassist in a band called Eagles of Death Metal, who was associated with like Queens of the Stone Age and all that type of stuff. So I grew up just going to tons of concerts and around just a lot of rock music. And he actually got me a drum kit when I was like 5 or so, and I started playing drums from then on. And I just absolutely fell in love. Some of my earliest like favorite stuff to play to was like Green Day, Nirvana, all those just absolutely classic bands. And so when I started deciding, I wanted to be an artist and get into my own type of music, I felt like it was only natural and right to go back to something that kind of feels like home to me.
And obviously, you're the lead singer of Londyn's Folly. So did you actually play any of the drums on the records as well? Like, have you ever thought about maybe kind of taking the drum kit over for a song or two?
Honestly, that would be a really fun thing. Our drummer Josh is leaps and bounds above what I can play. Uh, but it is fun that for me, I feel like I always focus on and our drum parts, like when we're writing our songs together and we're in the rehearsal space or whatever, and we're fleshing out how the song is gonna be. I feel like I always am right there communicating with him, and I'm really in depth in the process of like oh, maybe this fill is better than this one that you played, or it's really like a hands-on process between the two of us, and it's a great conversation that we're able to have where I'm able to like actually talk in drum terms rather than just being like, oh, it's just boom ka like that.
And also, as well, I have to ask, because obviously you three have such phenomenal chemistry. When you listen to a Londyn's Falling album, you can definitely, record, you can definitely hear that you guys actually have phenomenal chemistry within the studio and, of course, on stage as well. But how did you guys actually meet and come together to form this band? Because, if I'm not mistaken, you guys formed this band during the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, thank you first of all, and we formed just like the best part of the pandemic was the internet for connecting us, and it's kind of how it happened in that I was sort of making this decision that I wanted to come back to something that felt like home to me, and I was putting out feelers to other people who I knew who played instruments but in different genres and kind of saying, hey, does anyone else have any interest in going back to this sort of pop punk emo kind of style? And I didn't really expect either of them to say yes. So I asked Josh first because he was drumming with a friend of mine's band, but it was way different type of music. And he was like, yeah, I've been wanting to make something like that for a long time, but I just never knew anyone else who wanted to. And then same thing, I posted on Instagram, and our now guitarist Jacoby reached out and was like, hey, I love Paramore. It's like my favorite band of all time, and I would love to be a part of something like this. And it just happened that these two people were in the exact same headspace as I was with wanting to create a project like this.
And the one thing I love is actually seeing great bands like yourselves coming together in 2023 and just bringing pop punk back. I remember me being younger and being a teenager, and my parents being like, "Oh, it's just a phase. It's just like the '80s hair band music, blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "No, it's not. It's not a phase. Like this is the music."
Yeah,
Sure
absolutely.
enough, 20 plus years later, we're proving our parents wrong.
Absolutely. It's always been a genre that, and it's funny actually when I play some of my favorite like records from especially the that wave of pop punk, and my mom is always like, "I'm so surprised I know so many of these songs." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's because they're I feel like a lot of them are so timeless." And even when I play them for people who don't necessarily love the genre, it's such a timeless thing that they were able to capture, and I really love that. And I that's like my ultimate goal for our band is to be able to get into that space where our songs could enter that kind of timelessness.
And also, as well, on January 15th of 2022, you guys actually released a single titled Cigarette Boy. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this song. And of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today?
Yeah. So that was it was a long journey to from the conception of that song to the actual creation of it. It was one of the first songs that I had ever written in the sort of rock style, and it kind of got scrapped. All I had was the chorus really, and I was like, it could be good, but it kind of got scrapped. And then we have what we're getting ready to release now is actually we made a long time ago, and we didn't want to release that yet, and we needed a single to put out to be able to start playing shows, and we wanted something to give the like listeners. And I brought up that chorus to the group, and everyone really, really loved it and thought, we can just alter the verses and make something new around it. And we had a show that was coming up. I think it was January 15th was the show, and it was, let's say, December 1st, and our manager asked if we could get this song done and out in that time for the show, for our first show, and we worked our butt off and recorded. We do everything in house, so we recorded and mixed and engineered and wrote everything ourselves, and then put it out there. And I'm super super glad. And you can find it on all streaming platforms, including Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer. Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's really cool that you guys actually did this actually in-house as well. It's crazy how technology has advanced throughout the years. You can actually make a top-notch studio quality song in your own basement, and nobody would even know the difference.
Absolutely, it's amazing, and I'm honestly so thankful for technology because things that normally would have, like in the past, bands costed hundreds of thousands of dollars to record an album, and nowadays you can give, two people who just have the right mindset, $1,000 to record a whole entire song and just put in a bunch of work, and you can get a song that sounds almost the same, if not the same. And it's really amazing, and I'm so appreciative for it because I think it's allowed a lot of people to express themselves that maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity to beforehand.
And also, as well, on January 13th of 2023, you guys actually teamed up with United Kingdom hip hop artist
Mm.
Mecca Wells to actually release the collaborative single titled 911. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this single, and of course, how did you guys actually get connected?
Yeah, so this was one of our favorite songs that we've ever been able to work on. Maka was it. We didn't expect it, but he was the perfect collaborator for us, and he brought in something that was so unique when we were actually kind of putting his verse together, and he was writing it. And we got linked up with him because of a friend who recently passed away, unfortunately, named Ben, who is a videographer. He shot the music video for 911 as well, and he kind of told us, there's this guy out of London, and he's he's wanting to make music like you guys make, and he has like he's following, and he's a really really cool guy, and you guys should definitely try and see if he's coming to the US anytime soon, and if you could like make music with him, if he'd be open to it. And so we got introduced through that way, and then he ended up actually coming out here, and it was like just perfect timing to what we were doing at the time with, like, I think Cigarette Boy, was kind of coming out, and we were just preparing for what's going to be the next thing and all that type of stuff. And he was in LA, and we showed him the song, and he absolutely loved it. And like pretty much within 5 minutes of hearing it was already halfway done with a verse, and we heard it back not knowing what to expect from it, and it was like magic. Like it just fits so perfectly to what we wanted, what we were trying to say with the song. And we felt like he took the message and he understood it and he pushed it forward in his own words, which was just so amazing. And it's all you can ever ask for with the collaborators, that they actually work with you, and they're not just like, here you go, here's a verse.
Yeah, they definitely with music industry. There's a lot of people like that to just throw the verse out and go, okay, see, and they don't really engage. They don't really help promote it. So it's really cool that an individual like him actually really put in the work and
Yeah.
wanted to see it succeed.
Yeah, he's a great person, great artist, for real.
And I gotta say, it definitely is a phenomenal song. I really loved the hip. I really loved how what you guys brought to the table together. It was two different countries, completely different styled artists
Yeah.
coming together as one. And like you said, it matched together perfectly.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better, like, random mashup, honestly.
And also, while we're actually on the topic of collaborations and whatnot, just a few months later, on April 28th of this year, you actually released your most recent single alongside a different titled Kill Bill. I was wondering if you can actually
Yeah.
tell us a bit more about that. And of course, what was it like just working with them? Because I gotta say, Kill Bill is another hit that you guys put together.
Thank you. I mean, it was so Different Hits is sort of a distribution label that we were able to get connected with, and so we are still the solo artist on it, so to speak. As far as actually making the record, it's just us three that made the song. Um, but as far as um, like they're on the team sort of helping us with the release of that record, and so it goes under their artist profile. And there's going to be a bunch of other really great bands that are going to do like covers, and it's going to be with Different Hits. So that's what Different Hits is. But it was so fun to do that one because the original song of Kill Bill by SZA is so different, and it's an R&B song at the end of the day, like R&B pop song. And where it was actually our guitarist Jacoby who was like, this is the song that we need to do. It's so, like, the melody is so haunting, and the words are almost like facetious, and you're not actually gonna kill your ex, but you're just like feeling so angry and stuff. And to me, that spoke like Gerard Way and My Chem kind of stuff, where it's like this story that's so over the top and dark. And I really gravitated towards that. And I was like, it might not be a bad idea. We actually might be able to pull this off. And just through persistence and a few months of trying to kind of get it dialed in, we were able to get that one together. And it's one of my favorite ones that we've been able to release so far. So I'm very, very stoked that happened.
And also, as well, on April 8th, you guys actually had the opportunity to share the stage alongside Wreck Effect, Spirit Riot, and others over at the Viper Room out there in Hollywood. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that show last month. And of course, do you guys actually have any up and coming gigs? That way, our viewers can actually snag some tickets and come on out and see you guys put on one hell of a rock show.
Yes, sir. So that was I always love playing at venues like the Viper Room. First of all, I'll just say that there's something incredibly inspiring about playing on the same stage as some of our heroes. Like the last time we played there, we did a Green Day cover just for fun, for live, and they actually told us that Green Day did a surprise show at the Viper Room like a few months before that. And just for me to be able to be performing on the same stage as anyone of that level and just influence and creativity and art is just such a gift in the first place. So always incredible to be playing at venues like the Viper Room. And that show, we have actually played with most of those bands before, but more in like house shows in the Valley and stuff like that, way more DIY kind of venues, which is always really fun. But it's another level when you actually have a sound engineer and people making sure that everything sounds good. The last time we played a house show, it was just like things, mics getting unplugged and just you know, the DIY stuff that happens, which is you gotta love it. It's part of it, but at the same time, it is nice for a change to be at a real venue. And all the other bands that we played with, it was a great lineup because though we were all in rock, we kind of brought something individual to the table with each band, and it was really cool to see all these younger bands just being able to come together and share fan bases and support each other. It's really cool to see that like movement happening right now.
And I gotta say as well, DIY shows definitely are good. But when mics are getting unplugged, that's definitely not good. You know.
What one show we had, I was playing and my mic got unplugged by like people moshing, so I immediately jumped over to grab my guitarist's mic, and I grabbed it and I was pulling it off of the mic stand, but I didn't realize it was all coiled around the stand. So when I pulled it, it unplugged. And so that was the second mic out, and I looked back, and our drummer had one, luckily, in his mic stand. So I ran over the drum set and grabbed it, and then had to keep playing. Luckily, I think it was like our last song, but still, it was one of those things where it's just you got to do what you got to do, and you know the show must go on.
Hey, definitely, especially something like that. You know what I mean? But God bless the drummer for having his mic plugged in and untangled.
Exactly.
What- Also, you actually mentioned during the beginning of the interview how you guys actually have some new music currently in the works, and I do know a lot of your fans are probably on the edge of their seat right now, listening to this interview, wondering what can they expect from this up and coming release. I know obviously it's not released yet, so you can't let too many cats out of the bag. But from what you can tell us, what can we expect from this?
Well, this is sort of a rollout phase. So this is going to be the first thing we're releasing, which is an EP, and it's leading into a bigger album. So this is sort of the tip of the iceberg as far as what we're releasing, and I'm extremely excited for that because this is music that we have poured our heart and soul into creating. We have spent quite literally a year straight working on these songs that we're releasing, and in my opinion, it's my favorite stuff that I've ever had the chance of writing or producing or working on in any aspect. Um, it's much it expands our sound. I think the last stuff that we've released, we've tried to keep it in some sort of a similarity between it, like they're all singles and whatnot. And this is where I feel like we're starting to expand upon our sound for all the listeners, and for us, it's a chance to connect with more people in different ways than how we've been able to right now and explore different themes with our musical, with our musical arrangements and lyrics. So it's very exciting.
But I have to ask, what is next for London's Falling? I know, of course, we just spoke mere moments ago about your guys' up and coming releases. But aside from that, is there anything we missed during this evening's interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM dial this evening.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing that we've been trying to hit for a long time that I can think of is we're so close. We're like 50 followers away from hitting 10,000 followers on Instagram, which we set as a milestone for us like a year ago, probably saying, if we could get over that hump, that would just be such an amazing feat and a testament to like the work that we've been putting in. So hopefully that's coming within a little bit, and being able to get that would be just really a great sign for us, and a really hitting a goal that we've all been trying to hit, as well as we are absolutely in the works of planning a West Coast tour of the US this summer. So most likely late summer we'll be playing. Hopefully we're going to be hitting Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego. So look out on our Instagram, Londyn's Falling, LONDYNNES Falling, and you can stay updated with all of our information about upcoming shows, possible tour, anything like that.
And I just got to say, first and foremost, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and just sliding into the 99.9 Punk World Radio FM radio dial. Excuse me. It was such an honor to speak with you, man. I definitely love what you guys have got going on within the punk rock community,
Oh,
and I'm
thank you
super
so much.
stoked and excited to hear this up and coming album.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity and having us, or me, come on. It's really, really means a lot that you've actually taken the time. Like, I can tell you've done your research and you've actually listened to our music, and I really, really appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you like what we're putting out in the world. And yeah, thank you.
Hey, you're most certainly welcome. If you keep making it, we here at 99.9 FM are going to keep spinning it, man. I thank
Thank
you again, man, and definitely have yourself a kick-ass night.
Hey, thank you. Likewise. And to all the listeners, stay cool. Keep listening to your favorite music. And have a good night.
Hey, most definitely, man. Thank you so much again.
All right. Later. Have a good one.